Well, there's a new brand setting foot in the Indian automotive space. Citroen is all set to be here. I'm here with Roland Bouchara, who is the Senior Vice President of Citroen India Sales and Marketing. Thank you so much. Bienvenue et bonjour. And thank you so much for talking to us today. It must be a very difficult time to enter a market and set foot because, of the conditions worldwide. But, what has COVID really delayed Citroen's entry into India, or was it planned at this point of time?
You are right. It's not exactly an easy time, but however, we retimed the launch of the C5 SUV, which was supposed to be launched last year, but for obvious reasons, the time due to the COVID was not exactly good, and we retimed beginning of this year. It's not ideal, but it's much better than last year. As you notice, the last 3 months last year we are showing a TIV recovery, and the trend is still better than mid of last year.
Well, you're setting foot in India in quite a different way. Most people come in with a car that is more mass market. You've come here with your flagship premium SUV. So was that a definite strategy? Did you not want something that was more mass to kind of establish the brand in India?
Yeah, I mean, your question is very interesting, and we decided to launch the Citroen brand, which is an iconic brand in many other countries, but not yet in India. And we decided to launch this brand with the Citroen flagship, and the flagship being the C5 SUV, which is our premium. Why? Is because this car is gathering the whole know-how or savoir-faire, as we said in French, of Citroen DNA, based of what we so-called unmatched comfort that you will enjoy driving later on. So introducing the brand and showing what the best of the brand can offer, we believe is a good way to explain what Citroen is in India. And as you know, we are going to launch many other models later on.
Again, in a market where most new entrants are offering a confusing amount of variants, you've come in with just one single engine and gearbox option, especially since the market's shifting towards petrol. You have a diesel. Did you think was that part of the strategy, and why did you choose so?
Actually, in this kind of segment, we are talking about a premium SUV. We decided to have only two versions and one engine and diesel. First of all, because diesel is still one of the best fuel efficiency that we are going to offer on the market. And secondly, it's because we oriented the USP on unmatched comfort, and we have only two versions. And two versions, we believe, we will still be a kind of key players, even with the two versions with this kind of segment.
Is it also a statement from Citroen that they will persist with diesel in a country like India, where some manufacturers, post BS6 have shifted completely towards petrol? Is this Citroen's way of also saying that, yes, we have the diesel engines and we can bring them into India?
Yeah, I believe diesel, when you look at actually the overall premium segment, most of them are still diesel. Even some of them removed, but still diesel. And from a consensus, we have to say that diesel is still offering the best fuel efficiency for this kind of model.
Will it also be for the rest of the product?
No, the rest of the product obviously will have a petrol. If we talk about the CQ program, which is going to be launched soon, manufactured and localized in India, the range will have a petrol versions.
Okay. Also, you've started with just 10 dealerships around the country. Normally people expect more, and especially in India, people want to touch, see, feel, especially when it's a new brand. Do you think that that's a small amount? And what's the strategy to increase the dealerships?
Actually, yeah, you're right. We are starting with the first 10 dealerships located in the first 10 cities. But these first cities are where the potential customers are for this kind of cars, and then developing the network is a permanent operations, and we are already preparing the second phase of the network in order to launch the second car, which is going to come from the CQ program. So it's a permanent development. But to answer to your question, having 10 dealers in the main 10 cities where the potential customers for this car are is quite enough. And on top of that, I have to say, deliberately we opted for a strategy in terms of network development, which it is not a dinosaur approach.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is less footprint, and I was mentioning La Maison Citroën, which is what we so-called phygital showroom, smaller showroom. It doesn't mean small automatically, but smaller and digitalized. And if you want to keep the control on even quality all over the network, you need to always to be consistent on quality and keeping the control of the dealership. And developing a dinosaur approach most of the time is always difficult for one reason, is because life is never a long quad river.
Yeah. Okay, I can't argue with that. But also, since you're speaking about digitization, do you think that's, COVID has also changed the way the Indian car buyer is buying cars? A lot of people are now choosing to select cars online, look at them. So do you feel that that would help the fact that there's a smaller number of showrooms and maybe more service centers, more digital buying? Do you think that will be a way forward?
I really believe it, because we defined this strategy by the end of 2017, speaking about the phygital journey, starting from home on the website with a configurator will be, I believe, the best one on the market, a 3D configurator, and offering what we so-call the Atawadak principle or concept, which is offering every potential customers to do whatever is possible to do on a dealership until selling online, including accessories, finance, maintenance, etc. Anytime, anyway, any device, any content. If you want to buy it online, you will buy it, or you will save what you have already recorded and finding it at the La Maison Citroën. So why we decided about it is because obviously the world is going through a digitalization, and we find that we had an opportunity in India, being the last one coming. We had no transformation cost of our network, because obviously all OEM would like to do it, but you have two obstacles when you have, first of all, a network. You have a transformation cost, and more important, you have a mindset to change. So far we are concerned, we selected our partners on the basis that they were sharing this kind of ambition in terms of digitalization and reducing the infrastructure, but reinvesting a part of it in digitalization, and more important, in the profile of the collaborator being keen of using these kind of new tools.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there's been huge success for new brands that have entered India, like say Kia and MG. Does that give you a kind of confidence about the Indian market, especially in a difficult time like this?
Yeah, we are still on a long time period. I think that we can stay confident, hoping that COVID time will be over. We don't know when, but soon. And then what we believe is that the TIV in India will continue to grow. Even if we had a slowdown to the COVID, we believe that in the next 4 or 5 years the market should double and becoming one of the top 5 major TIV. And they will grow organically. So that's the first point. Consequently, this growth, we believe, will be based on the fact that we'll have a kind of middle class which is growing organically as well. And then this kind of evolution will change a little bit the segment. At this stage, 50% of the buyer are first-time buyer. It is why you have two brands dominating the market, because focus on the segment A. But we can see some trends coming out. SUV segment today is representing 29%. So with this kind of market within double between 4 or 5 years, and the middle class moving up, and Indian are very young population, 63% is below 34 years old, which are on a perpetual motion, perpetual upgrading their life. Everything is going so fast. We believe the segments are going to move, and what we are preparing for from our CQ program will try to anticipate this kind of segment evolution.
That's great. So, you've spoken to me and earlier said that I can't mention numbers because, COVID has sort of realigned everybody's thinking and things are now not as they would be. But in the long term, is Citroen looking to be a mass player in the Indian market, or are you looking to be a small volume, strength brand?
Actually, I'm not giving you so many figures because it's a difficult time to make some prospection, but we want to become a key players. To do so, to be successful in India, from my experience, because I have quite a long experience in India, You need first to have a solid and consistent product portfolio, being able to launch one car every year, bringing, as you said in India, something fresh every year. And that is quite important. When you look at actually the historic of many OEM, it has not always been the case. Yeah. So we are still keeping our promise to launch one car every year for many years. That's the first point. Secondly, you need to have a life cycle management to animate the range. That's the second key learnings to be in India. And the third one will be obviously to launch attractive car and well positioned. But the first car is a premium, and the next car, which are going to be launched from the CQ program, completely localized in India, will be, to answer to your question, in the what we so-called mainstream segment.
That's great. A little bit on the product now. I mean, all the market speak so far has been focused on comfort. Yeah. So we know that that is the inherent DNA of the Citroen brand, but the Indian consumer is quite different to most places in the world, and they have a lot of requirements and a lot of asks, value for money being one of the most key things that they want. So, as a new brand entering India, do you think that, comfort is your only focus? Are you going to now, change brand strategy or expand it a bit over a period of time?
Alors, first of all, when you say that many brands are talking about comfort, I'm not so sure. So far we are concerned, we have a credibility because Citroen brand has had a long, legendary history about its main DNA, which is on comfort, and proved from the technology like the hydraulic suspension giving flying carpet effect or the cocooning effect with the seat. Anyway, I'm not going to list everything, but we have a long history and not so many can say it. And we are coming in India with this car, which is a flagship, which is representing this kind of unmatched comfort. Now, obviously, when you say value for money, I would prefer to say money for value, because value for money, is a bit what we can say in many countries. But this car, if we speak about this car, we are talking about we'll have a good offer in terms of money for value. That's for true. I prefer this expression.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Yeah.